Alright, what's good, people? Gotta do another video. It's about that time. Oh, it's been a struggle having to deal with these fucking perpetrators. Same shit, different day. But I wanted to address a few things since, I don't know if TikTok's getting fucking banned or what. Also, these 3 days of darkness that are supposedly coming up they're trying to say that it's going to be. And there's going to be an eclipse. They're calling all the military, even the retirees to I don't know why they're calling them. I don't know if there's going to be a war or some shit with, I don't know who. Or whatever the heck's going to happen. But there's a lot of people saying a lot of different things. And they're saying that there's going to be like some catastrophes and I don't know what. But there's a lot of signs in the stars in the sky. And it says like scriptural stuff. So like I usually don't like put too much like effort and shit or like thought into like other previous things that happened, like when the pandemic happened and like everybody was all stressing out. Like I didn't even care. Like I was just like, whatever, you know what I mean? I know this is just like propaganda bullshit. But it's different when it has to do with like signs in the sky and stuff like that. It's more intricate. And I do have a feeling that something's going to happen. I don't know if it's good or bad. Hopefully good. But I just wanted to touch on a few things because these cowards are constantly still trying, and I can tell, bro, everything that they do, you know what I mean? Like, easily. And how I can explain it is this video that I pretty much downloaded. Oh, shit. All right, so I'm going to touch on this real quick because they have been trying to use all kinds of sorts of methods lately, but they're usually the same thing, same energies that I recognize. Like whenever they're not connected, I don't feel so much energy like on the back of my head, or like you can rest, certain materials, or even at times like the palm of your hand, you can just put it on the back of your neck or on the top of your head, and you can feel these energies pulsating at you. Just like how this guy is showing you, but he's using a piece of leather, and I think it's a microphone, and he's hearing the exact same thing that I hear. He's pretty much recording it and presenting it to people so that they can hear what's happening. This dude's TikTok. He has a lot of good information on here as well. So yeah, that's his name or whatever. So what he's doing right here is he has a leather, and the leather, I guess, it has moisture, and it's I don't know if leather is non-conductive, so when the energy is trying to get past it, because it's constantly connecting and pulsating to our head, into our ears, is a very main part of our body that is pulsating constant electricity. While electromagnetic field, it's all different fields of energy. So when you block it out, if you put earplugs, if you whatever, it'll resonate. The energy will resonate around your ear and try to get past whatever you're using. So yeah. This is one video. Yeah, it sounds like tapping, like a nail tapping on glass, because electricity is hitting the material. And I've experienced the same thing. He has another video where he shows he's using a different material like this right here. Where is it at? This one.
I'm going to show you what happened to this military grade EMP bag. I took one of these, cut them up, and I used them as shielding during the early days of attacks while I slept.
This is actually good shielding. I've used it long ago in the past, and yeah, you can cover, certain areas with this. Try to make like shielding around your head kind of type thing. There's a lot of different ways you can apply this as shielding, and you can hear all the fucking energy, bro. Like, it's crazy. And like, they think whatever, like whenever they get connected, they think that, just because I made a mistake, like, they already know if they lose control, like, of me moving from here, they're gonna have to like really implement the same shit wherever I go, or else they're gonna lose connection, because I shield and I'll find a way to block them out. It's just that if you live in a controlled environment, they can kind of try to control the outcome. So right now it's fine. Like, I don't care. I'm still victorious either way, but it's just they're making it harder for me to be consistent. So I'm not even stressing on that. I like to share information. So like, I like reminding them and other people that are in the targeted community that there is ways to block this stuff, and I'm gonna post all this stuff about it. So this is the aftermath of the, like, whatever energy that was hitting it. They're literally making puncture holes through this material. All right, so I want to show you guys some other stuff.
Human brain. You can attach one human brain to a device. You can attach the human brain to another human brain. You can direct motor activity, or you can send communication and information. What we know from the training trial data so far is that it'll probably require a training trial between people as well. And we don't know from an encryption and encoding standpoint whether everybody's communication would follow the same patterns or not. It may be that two people have to train, and then it's unique, and then you have a decryption problem for someone if they decide they can intercept the signal. Right? That would be, but you could plug in somewhere else in the world and learn something or see something or have somebody acquire the information that you have, and you wouldn't have to carry a different device. So that's what people are doing. There's a whole world out there of biohacking. I don't know if you're aware of it, but you should be. So normally at the university, we are well regulated by the federal laws about studying and experimenting on humans. There's a biohacking community that is not part of the official science community that is busy trying to attach hardware to humans, and they do it in their basements. They study up on how to do the surgeries, how to connect devices, how to put motherboards in people. And they may use it for some purposes like fishing, using RFID signals in their hands to take information from you. But there are some other interesting developments. When you start thinking about the fluidity of what you can do with the brain, they're experimenting with CE6 and giving...
I mean, dude, you guys already know what's up. Like, if you guys want to see this video, this is on his channel right here. Another TI, I think.
People with eye drops at night.
Give people fucking nanotechnology through eye drops, night vision. I don't know exactly how it works. Another thing I wanted to point out is that this dude, the energy is getting stronger on the outside because there's probably, the windows are rolled up. There's a lot of more fields and satellites that are focusing energy on you. And then plus I wanted to test this theory because I've used one of these detectors before, but I don't currently have one, but I wanted to test the theory of if that car is emitting energy, because I've noticed that a lot of perps like to park behind you. And I think that they have certain cars set up a certain way to amplify a little bit more energy toward your way. So if there is a car behind you, like, don't let anybody park behind you, like, or at least try not to. It's not the end of the world if they do, but most of the time, if they are, it's because they're trying to focus more energy on you. And that's just an observation. I'm not sure. The only way to be able to test it is with this meter and to park somewhere else and see if he still gets the same readings. Also, he should put it more towards the glass because there are speakers in the back, inner workings of a door and stuff, and there's like metals and stuff like that. So I would keep it away from like those surfaces, just to kind of get more of an accurate reading and shit. But
we had captured a device. It was actually during the Vietnam era. We captured a Russian device called the LIDA machine, LIDA, which was actually looked at by a guy named Ross Addy, one of the leading researchers, again, for military. He looked at this, and it was used for putting military prisoners of war into trance-like states using flickering lights and sound and electromagnetic field oscillations so that you would get in a very relaxed state, in a state where they could extract intelligence much more efficiently from you. And that became a whole new review for military technologists in this country, thinking maybe we can use electromagnetic fields to manipulate what's going on in the brain. In 1969, there was a book published called Towards a Psycho-Civilized Society, and this was put together by Jose Delgado, and he had his doctorate in electrophysiology from the University of Madrid from 1950. He came over to Yale University in the mid-60s and began mapping the human brain, stimulating the human brain in primates and bulls and animals, all different kinds of animals, stimulating different parts of the brain to see what parts were responsible for what kinds of actions or cognitive functions and so on. So what he was doing in those days, in the 60s, was he was implanting microcircuits, circuits, and stimulating them with RF, radio frequency energy. So one of the illustrations or photographs shows a charging bull coming at him, and he throws the switch, and the bull stops right in front of him. Well, by the mid-'80s, he figured out you didn't need any implanted technologies. All you needed to know was how to modulate the right frequency. And the energy density, the concentration of energy, was 1/50th of what the Earth naturally produces. Very small energy in the RF range, radio frequency ranges. Now, compare that to what's around us right at the moment. At the moment, there's 200 million times more radio frequency and energy around us in any urban area than there is naturally produced by the Earth. So a huge amount. And out of all that background noise, what he found is by hitting a precise window frequency with very low energy concentrations, he would pick that signal out because it was coherent. Not like nature all over the map. It was a coherent rhythmic signal in a very precise frequency. The brain would pick it out, and he could change behavior from lethargic to highly active, back and forth, like switching on and off a light switch.
Let me ask a question right here. Is that with a subject that was in, say, a short distance of whatever he was utilizing to affect this particular pulse, or is this at large? Could he do this on, say, larger groups?
You could do it on an individual basis or a very large basis. In fact, if you go back to the work of J.F. Gordon MacDonald, he was a geophysicist at UCLA, and he was a science advisor to Lyndon Johnson. He wrote a chapter in a book called Unless Peace Comes, and the chapter was called How to Wreck Your Environment. But within that chapter was a section that said, if we could ever learn how to electronically stroke the ionosphere, this layer that begins about 30 miles above the Earth's surface that's electrically charged, if we could ever figure out how to electronically stroke it, he said, to get it to send a signal back to the Earth, we could affect the behavior of people over huge geographic areas on a hemispheric basis. And it wouldn't affect everyone. It would affect 70 or 80% of the population is what they more or less figured. But this was a technology that didn't exist in 1969. In the early 70s, Zbigniew Brzezinski referenced J.F. Gordon's work and said, this is a technology that will likely emerge. What has happened with a project that I wrote a book on some time ago, Angels Don't Play This Harp, about the HARP project, it was designed to do many things. As a side effect or a deliberate effect, this can happen. The fact is they generate the right kind of signal in the right range to override brain function. And then you can kind of look at the brain in sort of this way in terms of predominant brain activity. 1 to 4 hertz or pulses or vibrations per second. This is where you are in your deepest states of sleep. The next range, approximately 4 to 7 hertz. This is the theta range, the theta range. This is where you are between awake and asleep, when you're consciously aware of your dreams. This is where little kids are between 3 and 6 years old, why they have trouble distinguishing reality from imagination because of the way the brain works at that time. A little bit further up, you have the alpha range, 7 to, say, 11, 12 hertz in that range. This is where you are when you're in the zone, when you're doing your art, your reading, your research, when you're really focused. That's where you want to be. And then above that is the beta ranges, where people should be when we're actively having this kind of a dialogue. And then high beta is where you are in your agitated states. If you think about affecting the brain, by analogy, similarly to dialing a radio station. When you dial through the radio station, most of the energy is just static. You're static between the stations. When you get on station, you get resonance, harmony between the transmitter and receiver, and you get a nice clear signal. The same is true in the human body and the human brain. Whether you look at it at an elemental level, the elements that compose the body, or you take it all the way up to the organs of the body, you can...
SD hasn't been silent.
Did you know Apple just applied for a patent so that they can retrofit AirPods to read your mind?
Oh.
Or they didn't apply, they filed a patent. So what it is AirPods, they're fitting them with electromagnetic sensors. And do you guys remember when we talked about they could hook a brain machine up to a person and they could look at something and they could use AI to generate the picture?
Yeah.
So that technology, rather than a full helmet, they have successfully mapped via sensors in AirPods. They've successfully done the same thing. And so what they said, I was reading in neuroscience.com or something like that. I was reading an article and it said what they're able to do is read that sensor, and they said everybody's electromagnetic pulses are different. And so it's not just an immediate read what you're thinking and then regurgitate it. It's a process of learning. And so they mine and log all of the thoughts, all of the pulses. And so
are these in the current headphones? Sure.
No.
Yeah. They may be testing stuff, who knows?
But they said, the article I found said they did it successfully 5 years ago.
Yeah, weird. Come on, Steve!
But you know how they updated the
Dude, 5 years ago, my ass, bro. This shit fucking, the government's been knowing about this technology. And they're just going to make headphones more sophisticated so that they can easier read certain brain functions and stuff with certain uh obviously electromagnetic fields and magnets inside the the headphone, because the headphone already has a magnet inside of it. So I was wondering, like, I've always thought about this, but like, is there a way to build a speaker without having a magnet in it? Like, is it possible? But the only way that I know is airflow technology, airflow headphones. If you look that up, they're constructed a little bit different. Supposedly they're low EMF. Dude, but like, dude, this like from what I heard, like, obviously they're testing on us to perfect this stuff so that they can do this to the masses, crowd control, all kinds of stuff. There's a lot of ways you can use different types of energy to, like, try to shut somebody up, to try to disperse a crowd, to, like, there's so many different ways you can use this. And they want to be able to master all those different types of ways so they can control the population. I mean, we're just pretty much test subjects to their fucking bullshit. And who's gonna believe us? It's a touchless program. They got fucking applications that can fuck with your heart, that can fucking, map your brain through headphones. This is all shit that we like, oh, well, how are they doing this? Yeah, well, this is obviously how they've been doing this. This is like actual fucking patents and fucking shit that they can do. And then they're fucking wondering, well, like, oh, you're fucking crazy. There's like nobody watching you, bro. Nobody's fucking, no, they have all the shit in your TV, in your phone. You're fucking monitoring your heartbeat, monitoring your fucking vitals, whatever, anything. They're fucking brain mapping you. They can fucking read your thoughts and shit. Like, and then they're synchronizing other people's brains and fucking with you. So that's how they know when you're leaving your house, when you're fucking throwing the trash, when you're taking a fucking shit, because they got fucking other fucking puppet ass bitches synchronized with you through these, fields and these Wi-Fi routers and all this shit around you, these dirty energy, dirty electricity. And they're fucking using this as a form of control, of a form of fucking, behavior modification, whatever the fuck they want to do with it. Just depends on what they are looking to accomplish. You know what I mean? There's a lot of different things that you can do. These things can be used for a lot of good. Like, if they wanted you to have a lot of good dreams, if they wanted to put you in a good mood, if they wanted to use this nanotechnology to kill the bad stuff in your body instead of infect you and like pull a bunch of heavy metals at your brain. You know what I mean? There's two sides to everything. You know what I mean? A lot of this shit can, it can make a paralyzed person be able to play video games on a computer with their mind. You can do all kinds of shit and it'll be more active, more responsive. But see, that's the thing. They don't really give a fuck about those applications. Yeah, it's good and dandy to kind of like pitch that and be like, oh yeah, well, this is for the fucking better of mankind. But then everybody fucking has it in their body. Everybody, you want privacy? Nope, you can't get it. You're already too late. The shit's in your body. You're fucked. There's no escape from this shit now. You know what I mean? Like, and that's where it's going to lead up to, because there's a bunch of dumb fuck retarded ass puppet people that are going to be like, oh yeah, let's fucking use VR headsets. Let's get our fucking brains scanned and fucking be little puppets. And then, like, if they ever wanted privacy, you know what I mean? There's always somebody watching, even if they're not sharing it and fucking doxing. They're not doxing them like they dox us. So they're not sharing all their information, but there are certain people within their circles that are watching them. You know what I mean? They're just not fucking publicly trying to humiliate them with every little fucking thing that we do and they fucking broadcast the shit out of it and like try to make us look like the bad guys and shit. So that's pretty much, all this bullshit in a fucking nutshell. And I just fucking, like, it's so obvious now. It's so fucking, like, blatantly obvious. And, people that are still trying to deny it or still trying to pretend like they're fucking retarded and shit. Yeah, you could fucking suck on a fat one because you're just a fucking puppet like everybody else. But anyways, I'm still not done yet. I want to talk about a few more other things.
Hey, everybody. I want to touch on something about this gang stalking. I recall years back when this began, I remember, like, my whole world was flipped upside down, inside out, just like, those of you who are going through this know, your life and world is forever changed. So, I pray this reaches every one of you guys that are bought into the Matrix and the whole it's the government or people thing, because it is people and it is the government, but it's unclean spirits attached to these vessels, because that's exactly what you are. You're a vessel, and you either have the spirit of God or the enemy. When you don't have either one, you're like this empty vessel, that is easily influenced in essence. But all right, so I remember I went for a jog once, and I saw these people. I jogged for about maybe 10 miles that day, and I was on this trail, and it brought me into the city of Green Bay. As I'm jogging, you'll see people on this trail maybe once or twice, if that, but not, continuously. Like, I saw them like 4 or 5 times, and then they were hovering around little pockets. So, I'm very street smart, so I was very aware of my surroundings. Little did they know. But as I got closer to the end of my trail, I was going past, past my cars and stuff, and I see people with their phones recording me. And it was not mistakenly like, a bird in the sky. It was me. You can tell they're dead on, following you with their phone, with your movement. So I go down to another block, and I had a feeling there was a guy that was going to pop his head out from behind his blind spot of the corner. And I just passed my hotel. So I'm running in place, jogging in place to get ready to jog across, but I slowly turn around and look, and I see somebody's head peeking out. This is old timer. I was going to walk up to him and say something to him, but he was older, and just something inside of me told me. So as I walked up to him, I recall saying, "How you doing?" And he's like, I didn't say anything. I said, "God bless you." And I walked across the street, staring at him though. So as I'm jogging down the street, more people are recording me in their cars. I'm like, what's going on here? What's going on? This is getting crazy. So I get up to this library. I'm drenched in sweat. And at that time, I smoked like every once in a while, but I had a pack of cigarettes on me. But I'm drenched in sweat. I get to the doors, and this redhead girl comes up to me. She's like, "Excuse me." I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Got a cigarette?" I'm like, how are you going to ask somebody who's jogging completely to stop them jogging, is drenched in sweat, with earbuds in, you're going to come up and ask them for a cigarette? Well, I happen to have cigarettes on me, so I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I gave her one. She's like, "Thanks a lot. Take care of yourself." And the way she said that was like, what? Caught my attention. So I went into the library, and I was supposed to meet up with somebody. And then all of a sudden, as I'm in there, all these people start coming into the atrium. And not just one person, because I know they're staring at me because they walk in and they're looking around, they see me, they lock eyes. And then all of a sudden they grab at something random without even looking at it. And they're holding it, and they're just standing there staring at me. And then more and more people came in like that. And the whole atrium had at least about 30-some people in there staring at me. And I'm watching this show like, is this really going on? Like, why are these people staring at me? There was a lady on top of the upper part of the atrium on the higher floor. She was an old lady with a yellowish wicker hat, like a sun hat. And there's people around on each corner of the atrium upstairs by her. And she's walking with her hands behind her back looking at some paintings. And then she stops and turns around and just stared down at me like that. And I'm looking at her like, what do you want? And I knew for some reason these are all connected with her. It doesn't take a chance to figure that out. So I walk up to a security guard and I'm like, hey, you need to call an ambulance. He's like, an ambulance? He's like, yeah. He's like, why? I'm like, because see all these people? And he's like, why are they staring at you? I'm like, that's why. And he's like, I'm calling the police. I'm like, whatever happens, man. Just to let you know that. So all of a sudden, as soon as the police got there, because I had to still leave, these people I wasn't afraid of them. I was just like making sure if anything happens, hey, someone's watching that, I'm not at fault here. So I'm walking out, and the police had to put their arms around me as if they're trying to protect me from the paparazzi, like media or something. These people are getting closer and closer. And they're like, there's nothing in their eyes. And their hands are all extended as they're all grouped around, as the police are keeping them back with their hands out trying to touch me. But they couldn't touch me for some reason. At the time, I didn't understand why. So, anyways, the police escorted me outside, and these people were just like... Anyways, the police escorted me outside, and these people were just like zombies, like mindless, but they wanted to touch, which was just really weird. And all these people were staring at me, all these hands coming at me, but they couldn't touch me. Even though the cops were there, they could have tried, like, make contact, but they couldn't for some reason. So then, anyways, as I drove away, I see people coming up to the street corners, like they're waiting for a parade. No matter what corner I went to, it's like they already knew. And they're out on the corners with their phones watching me. And no, this is not they were in my phone GPSing me or anything like that. This is spiritual wickedness in high places. See, the spirit up here can see and fill in these vessels down here with unclean spirits. And so they monitor you. It's that fast. Or like in the movie The Fallen, boom, boom, boom. They can touch something and they hop from vessel to car to anything to get to you. They can't just fly in the sky, these kind of spirits. They need something to hop off of, like something with energy. So anyways, every place I went to, it doesn't matter what street I turned on, then there would be cars in the middle of that road, the one-eyed ones, the potato cars with the missing headlight, one-eyed Willie. So they're in the middle of these blocks, and I'm driving past, and all of a sudden they start coming. And they would follow, and then I would go past and turn and zig and zag, and they weave through these blocks just to, more cars. Same thing. How do they know where I'm at? Because spiritual wickedness in high places, everyone. Ephesians 6. And I don't know when people are going to get this, but when you go through this boot camp, that's what this is. It's a refiner's fire. You're being tried and tested. And, you're called. Now, to be chosen, you got to endure and persevere through this. You got to call on Jesus Christ. You got to surrender to God the Father. And you have to surrender your all. But yeah, I just wanted to share that quick testimony. Nothing like that, whatever surprising me. I mean, I've seen it many times.
Good testimony. This is the dude's channel. I've been following him for a while. Pretty solid dude.
But
BP's ours.
Alright, so pretty much, I wanted to touch on that. I do believe in that aspect of our targeting, that it is spiritual. And, I've experienced similar things, to his testimony, so I can agree and pretty much like have similar outlook on that. But definitely it has to do with energy and them, fucking following you through that shit, whether it's energy, spiritual energy, whatever, however you want to look at it. But as for the eclipse that's supposed to come on I think April 14th or April something. Just to be safe. If you live by the water, I would fucking get like some life vests or something. Just get a little bit of extra food, just in case. You know what I mean? Not, to like be like a prepper and stuff, but something is telling me to just kind of stay, a little bit ahead of the game.
The sun is the first emanation of God. The angels come from the sun. The moon is a tick. The demons come from the moon. On April 8th, be prepared that at the lunar and solar eclipse, hit the drum. Look up to the sky. Just like when boxers are coming face to face, as it always been an ancient ritual, that this is the time when the sun and its consciousness, the moon and its demonic consciousness are coming face to face like boxers just before the match. That is exactly what's going to happen. All who choose to go solar, to embody qualities of the sun, to shine bright, and to be a light to others, an illuminating source to others, you choose the side of the sun. Those who choose to remain in these sleeping doctrines of Christianity, Islam, and a couple few other religions, but I named those two mainly because they're two of the major religions out of the six, then you remain where you are and stay with the forces of the moon. The sun,
the Great Atlantic Rift, and pull it up. And people don't realize that the continents are granite and they float on the magma core. So they're just floating there. So the Great Atlantic Rift is a line of mountains right down the center of the Atlantic Ocean from Iceland to Antarctic. And there's an upwelling of magma right there. And as the North Pole of Planet X is in line with the sun, as Planet X is in line with the sun and the North Pole is pointed at the Earth, it's every day when the Atlantic Ocean faces the sun, the Atlantic Rift gets pulled down towards Planet X, and then as the Earth continues to turn, it gets released, because when the North Pole of Earth starts going towards the North Pole of Planet X, then it gets pushed back. But so eventually what's going to happen is Planet X is going to grab the crust. It's going to be close enough that the crust will stop turning with the core. So nothing changes the core, and nothing changes the North Pole of Earth pointing up. But what's going to happen is Planet X is trying to go by, and the day it goes by, it's going to grab the crust and slide it up over the North Pole and then let go of it. And when it lets go of it, the new North Pole is going to be the eastern tip of Brazil, Recife, Brazil, and there's going to be 600-foot tidal waves followed by the tail of Planet X brushing the Earth with all these rocks, which was one of them was the meteor over Russia.
So you're talking catastrophe here.
Absolute catastrophe. The roiling of the magma deep in the core of the Earth is causing these quakes and these other shifts. The north end of South America is going to move to the west. The north end of Africa is going to move to the east. The Atlantic is going to get wider. The Pacific is going to get narrower. So there's all these things. And the Zetas had said there was an event calendar, and 7 was preliminary Earth changes, 8 was massive social change, and 9 was worldwide volcanoes, earthquakes, and sinkings. So I was out there taking pictures of the full moon, and when I was playing them back on my computer, I realized that in 2 consecutive pictures, I hadn't moved my hands at all. There's a table up on top of the mountain.
I don't know, peeps. I don't feel like looking for the rest of the videos, but I don't know if they're talking about the solar eclipse that's coming up. But like I said, a lot of people are saying a lot of different things. I'm just, get ready stay ready so you don't gotta get ready. I'm just giving you guys a heads up because usually I don't really worry about too much stuff like this. But I don't know, for some reason I'm getting this feeling like we should, try to get a little bit prepared for this shit. We never know what's gonna happen, and you'd rather be safe than sorry. So, yeah, I don't know. And then other people are saying, like it's a biblical, like, prophecy, and I don't know what that. I forget what they were talking about exactly, but yeah, I'm leaving. I'm gonna get going. It's already been about a 40-minute video. Hope this helps somebody, and comment, give me guys your opinion if you want, and I'll reply back. And yeah, just stay up, don't trip. God's got our back.